Hi, my name is Ashleigh from Duncannon, Pennsylvania,
Hi, my name is Joanne, and I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
and you're listening to.
White Canes Connect.
Hello there, PA Federationists. Welcome to another episode of White Canes Connect. I am Preston Gaylor. I'm the secretary of our Jigsaw at Large chapter. Hope you are doing well and ready for what's to come today. But before we get into what's to come today, I do want to bring on Simon Bonifant, who is the president of our student division of the Pennsylvania Association of Blind Students. And if you're wondering, David is behind the glass, but he asked us to host this episode for you today because we got very exciting happenings going on. So, Simon, welcome. How are you doing, sir?
Thank you so much, Preston. Yeah, it's great to be on with everyone. I have been on before as a guest, but never as a host. So I'm glad to be promoted, so to speak. Great to be
Yeah,
with you, Preston. And it's going to be a great episode, very educational episode. Going to be talking to two young students who are scholarship finalists for the National Scholarship of the NFB. We have Joanne Kim and Ashleigh Rogers. It's going to be a great episode.
ladies, congrats to you both again for winning the scholarship and thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. My name's Joanne. I go to Temple University, and I'm currently studying environmental science with a focus in climate. And I also just recently announced my minor in geology.
Wow.
Very nice. And Ashleigh?
My name's Ashleigh. I'm a recent high school graduate. I actually just graduated last night, and I will be attending Lebanon Valley College in the fall and majoring in actuarial science.
Oh, congratulations to you on your graduation. That's terrific.
Yeah, so in a way, you both are doing similar fields of study per se.
Why don't we hear from you both now about your visual impairment and what you can see, what you can't see, that kind of thing, and how that has affected you throughout your schooling, some challenges that you have faced, and things along those lines. Ashleigh?
Yeah, so I was born with a genetic condition called albinism. So I am legally blind, but I'm on the more seeing end of the spectrum. So I can see colors and shapes and see people and talk to people. I just don't see the smaller details. And I have like a hard time reading print and that type of thing. But albinism has also caused me to be super pale. And then I also have nystagmus and photophobia. So it's a wide variety. Overall, schooling really hasn't been too terribly difficult for me. My iPad has basically been my eyes all through schooling. My teachers send me my notes, and then like I can take pictures of whatever they put on the board, so I have them. And then normally they'll send me whatever worksheets they have, and then I can do everything from my iPad with my Apple Pencil. And honestly, I don't know how I would have gotten through school without my iPad. Um, Challenges wise, what I feel that I struggle with the most is just like reading social cues and body language because I can't see people's facial expressions or that type of thing. And I find that very frustrating.
What about you, Joanne?
So when I was in fifth grade, I got a brain tumor, and thankfully it was benign, but because of that, it caused a lot of pressure on my optic nerve. So, on my left eye, I can only see like light and movement, but on my right eye is where I have the majority of my vision. So during school, similar to Ashleigh, I would also use the iPad and take pictures and stuff. And I also had a Visio book, which for those who don't know is like a CCTV based thing, and it like you can magnify things super big, and that helped a lot. Since I just finished my first year at college, it has been a little bit different because I don't have the same resources that I did in high school or middle school. So instead, I had to provide my own material. So I would use my phone, my iPad, whatever was easier. And also, Temple has an amazing resource. It's called the Disability Resources for Students, and they are so helpful with everything. Like they get me all the accommodations I need. None of my professors have have had an issue with accommodating me, they'll send me like the PDF versions of the textbooks and everything. So overall, it's been kind of a challenge, but it's been manageable.
Well, that's always good as long as you guys can figure out what tools and assistance you need, and as long as you get the main support and the mainstays during your educational journey.
Why don't we talk about your involvements in the NFB, National Federation of the Blind? I know that you are both new to the NFB, and we're very welcome to have you here, and we welcome you into the Federation family. Talk about how you found the NFB and what made you apply for the scholarship. Let's go to Joanne first.
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I actually transferred to a school for the blind, and through that, I was able to learn about like all the different resources I had. So like I am with the Blind and Visual Services of NPA, also again NFB, and I initially for the first year I didn't really do anything regarding NFB or like wasn't really involved in it. Mainly that was because of COVID. It was kind of hard to like be involved with the community, I'd say. So when I actually didn't find out I was graduating until like a couple months before like the school year ended. So by that time, I didn't have a chance to even apply for many scholarships, much less like the NFB one. But I decided, I didn't get a chance to do it last year. Might as well apply this year, and I got it. So that's been pretty great, and I do plan on being more involved with the NFB going on since this sounds like such an amazing opportunity. Especially to meet other blind folk.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is. And especially, if this is going to be your first convention, which I assume it will be, it's pretty much a lifelong experience.
And Joanne, you mentioned that you transferred from a regular school to a school for the blind. What was that transition like for you, and which school did you prefer?
Yeah, so actually, to be honest, the transition, it was really difficult, especially trying to convince my school that I needed to go to a school for the blind. Because my previous school, the issues was that they weren't following my IEP at all, which made it very difficult for me to succeed academically. So when I transferred, my grades went from D's and F's all the way to straight A's. And I actually graduated like valedictorian. Overall, I loved my experience at the school for the blind much more than at my regular school because I was able to get all the support and resources that I needed.
Yeah, it just really shows that, when we're given the same opportunities as anybody else, we can succeed. And I'm sure that you probably succeeded in more ways than even the people at your previous school were doing. If you were getting straight A's, that's terrific. And, it just shows that the NFB philosophy really prevails in that. So very good job there.
Especially too, since you learned how to advocate, very good transition.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And hence now you won the scholarship. So you'll be able to encourage more people to get out there and take a chance on it.
Yeah, definitely. Like I would say if I knew that going to a school for the blind was even an option, I would definitely have done that from the start. Then I guess almost wasting my time at a regular school and like struggling through those first 2 years of high school.
What school did you go to for the blind? You want to give a shout out?
I went to Overbrook School for the Blind. It's kind of on the outskirts of Philly. That was a great school.
And Ashleigh, what has been your experience with the NFB so far, and what made you decide to apply for the scholarship?
So I have not been very involved with the NFB. I know my mother got my first cane through some program the NFB was running when I was younger. And then I went dormant for several years. I really wasn't involved. And then this year, my teacher of the visually impaired and I were talking about how I was going to prepare myself for college and how I was going to pay for college and scholarships. And one of our goals was to apply for scholarships. And he brought up the NFB and he's like, it's not only for scholarships. You just being connected to this group of people could help you a lot in your future, and just meeting other people with other visual impairments. And so I applied for the scholarship to like complete the task of his checklist, but I'm really excited for convention this year and to meet a whole bunch of new people.
Definitely. That's what it's all about.
Why don't we talk about the process for applying and the communications that you've had with the scholarship committee? What was it like to apply? I think this would be a great topic to talk to for maybe people that are thinking of applying, but maybe see it as a daunting task. Can you share your experience as to what that was like for the both of you? Joanne.
Yeah, so my experience applying, that's a really great question, actually. So at first it was a bit daunting just because there was a lot of requirements and I was a bit worried like if I was able to get all of them. And especially writing the essay, that was probably the most difficult part for me, even though writing and stuff and such is something that I don't really struggle with, but it was just hard kind of tapping into like that internal dialogue of like what it's like being visually impaired and what it's like, especially being in the geosciences. I'm sure you could relate it being in a STEM field, Ashleigh, but yeah, so it was a bit daunting. And actually, I was really nervous asking one of my professors for a recommendation letter because that's something that I don't really have that much experience doing, but she was really supportive. Her name is Dr. Lisa Grumberger. She is one of my favorite English teachers so far. I love her so much. And, it does seem very overwhelming at first, but once you finish that last sentence on the essay, you submit all the documents, you email everything, get your transcripts together, like, you just feel so accomplished afterwards, and it just feels great. And it leads to an amazing opportunity with the convention and with the NFB and everything. So highly recommend.
And I'm sure definitely a lot of proofreading.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
How about you, Ashleigh?
Yeah, so when I was applying for the NFB scholarship, I had actually already applied for quite a few scholarships beforehand. So some of the stuff like I was able to like reuse or just modify slightly. So like a list of like accomplishments and stuff. I already had some of that typed out, which was nice, and I already had my transcript. So a lot of it was just uploading things and getting everything organized and submitted. Similar to Joanne, I think the hardest part was writing the essay, but this, at least in my opinion, this prompt was easier because I was talking about myself and my own experiences instead of trying to write an essay about something else or an idea. Like it was all my experiences and what I've gone through. And I feel like that made the essay writing part easier. And then obviously proofreading it, I had to go to my English teacher, and her and I like discussed commas because like when I read things or listen to things mainly, like I don't notice the commas, I don't see them. So like we had to go through and like add commas and make things look professional, but it really wasn't too terrible compared to some of the scholarships I applied to.
Have you guys thought about what type of career you want to go into after graduation? I mean, I know for you, Ashleigh, you're going to be starting soon, and Joanne's still continuing. But is it definitely going to be like in a science field aspect of it? You're thinking down the line?
So for me personally, after I get my degree in actuarial science, I have to pass a series of like tests and exams to get like my official like certification. But then after that, I will probably work in the insurance industry for a little while. And then I would love to transition and work for like the government, so like the National Security Agency or something like that, and do like their statistician type work.
Not bad.
For me, yeah, actually similar too. I also want to work for the government because I'm really passionate about the environment and protecting it. And I think there has been, especially in recent years, of a lot of shortcomings when it comes to government protections regarding the environment and the health of our planet. And so I would love to work either for the EPA, obviously, or even just at the state and the local level. Like, actually, I am just recently am now public outreach for Temple's Society of Environmental Engineering and Science. So through that club, we of course talk a lot about the environment, but we also reach out to nonprofits and what. Recently, we had a club meeting with the Philly Water Department where we talked about what it means to work in those fields after college and what it's actually like to be out in the community. So really, that's just what I want to do at the end of the day, is just protect the environment and contribute to the world.
Very good. I love it.
Let's go a little deeper into this topic of your careers and your passions in your fields. What moment was it that made you realize this is the field you want to go into in terms of STEM, in terms of helping the environment? What was the moment that kind of the light bulb went off to say this is something that you feel confident in and you want to make an impact in? Ashleigh, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just want to start by prefacing actuarial science is more of a math related field than it is a science. So a lot of my type of work will be more of using statistics to predict how likely something is to happen. So a lot of the times with insurance agencies, actuarial scientists will determine how much risk the insurance company should take out on someone. So how much money they should charge the person for car insurance. But I think I realized I wanted to go into the STEM field, more specifically math. When I was in 6th grade, I would have been in 5th grade. They took a test. They had us take a test to figure out what math class we'd be taking the next year. And I had placed into the highest math class, and that was up to that point, I didn't really care about my grades. I was just in school to be there. I was probably a B-ish student. But when I placed up higher in math, that really gave me a confidence boost, and I fell in love with math. I love it feels like solving a puzzle, and that's just how my brain works. And I enjoy doing math. And a lot of people can't say that, but that's how I fell in love with my career.
Yeah, you definitely got a one up on me there with the math. So that's good. And Joanne?
Yes, so my family has always pushed me to the typical be a doctor, be a lawyer. But I knew that that wasn't really my passion, but I was still really interested in the sciences. Even though science was never really a strong subject for me. And actually back in I want to say 2017, I was really a big I was really into the zero waste movement. And for those who don't know, it's where you try and minimize as much waste that you produce as possible. But the problem with that is that I realized that I was just buying these reusable things, reusable straws, those instead of paper towels, I'd use cloth towels. And it just kind of made me think more about, okay, I want to protect the environment, but I think I can do more than just simply buying more sustainable things. There has to be more that I can do. So I looked into, I just Googled the all day. I was what can I do as this 11, 12-year-old? And I came across environmental science, and I also found that that environmental consultants are a thing, that they basically just get paid to yell at businesses about how bad they are for the planet. And I was that sounds pretty cool. I don't think that's what I would want to do now, but for me, that was really formative to learn that this is where these are where my passions lie, and I know this is something that I'd be fine with doing, 9 to 5 every day, So yeah, ultimately that's why I made my decision to enter this major, and also what kind of helped me decide that I also want a minor in geology, because a lot of environmental science is about geology, and a lot of people think that geology is just about rocks, but really, if you think about it, it's about the study of the world, water, hydrology, all this stuff. It's so ingrained into geology that I thought with that I really could learn more, and I could also do more out when I graduate. I'm out in the field because I have more knowledge. So yeah, that's really what that really was a catalyst for for why I chose this major.
That's inspiring indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah, very, very good work that you're both doing, especially now the environment is something that is being talked about more with climate change and other topics such as that. It's really important, especially for young people, to get into that field and shape the future, because that is literally going to be the future of the environment. So you're both doing great work, and I know I personally wish you the best.
Yeah, I definitely do as well. And, you may have some bumps in the road, but at the same time, this is why, you're thankful to be joining the NFB family because we have, I'm sure, lots of scientists and experienced people in the field. They're all going to be by your side. And I feel when you walk into these doors at convention, they're definitely going to be taking you all in, as Simon mentioned earlier. So,
Yes, and as Preston just mentioned, one of the big parts of the scholarship experience, for those who do not know, is going to the national convention, as we touched on a little bit before. But I know you can't speak as to this because you've never been yet, but what are some of the things that you're both hoping to get out of this experience, or not just the convention, but the scholarship experience as a whole?
Yeah, so I feel like already I've been open to or introduced to so many opportunities, especially with the NFB and being so like directly connected with them compared to before. As for the convention, I'm really excited to like network and to meet people and to be more involved with the blind and visual impaired community. Because I feel like, especially at Temple, there aren't too many of us here. And if there are, they're few and far between. So yeah, that's what I'm really excited for, is just to meet new people.
I would agree. I'm really hoping to like make some friends and like find people who've gone through similar things as me. And I'm also kind of hoping to maybe gain a mentor or two. It's like people I'm not afraid to reach out to and ask questions and ask how they overcame certain obstacles in their lives. But I'm just really excited to meet everyone, and I'm excited to learn new things too. But mainly the people.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really shows in the NFB is that we all have the same struggles. I remember one time we were all sitting around at a gathering with a bunch of voiceover users, and we were all talking about how there were problems with the phone and things didn't work right. And it was just amazing to sit in this room, 5 or 6 people, all having the same problem, and we could all say, we get it. It all happens to us. And, sometimes it's just nice to connect with people who get the same things that you're going through, the same struggles, people that have been through it and came out on the other side doing well. So yeah, you're right. It's something that is so impactful, that camaraderie and just shared sense of belonging that we have here. One of the things we just touched on was the impactfulness of mentorship, particularly in the blindness community. But I want you to talk a little bit now about who is your biggest mentors that have helped you along the way to where you are now, and what makes them so inspiring or have so much wisdom. You can give us some shout outs here to the influential people in your life. Ashleigh?
Yeah, so my first mentor, her name was Sally Ann Thomas. She was like my third or fourth teacher of the visually impaired. I had her, I believe, fourth grade through my freshman year in high school. And she taught me more than just like how to do basic household tasks. She taught me how to like be a good person and be a good friend. Now, obviously, like she taught me how to like type. She taught me like how to cut my own nails and like do basic cooking and that type of thing. But she really helped me grow up as a person and learn how to like talk to other people. Um, One of the things that like I like appreciate the most from her is I was all of my peers in school always thought I was like really snooty or snobby because they would like smile at me and I'd have no idea that they were smiling at me. But she taught me like just to always have a smile on my face and to always like reach out to people and talk to them first. Um, and I really appreciate her for that. And then recently, like since her retirement, we go out to eat together, we go shopping together. Like she's she's done everything for me. She's like my like third grandma. Um and I really give her credit for making me the person I am today and helping me get through school.
So I'd say my mentor, definitely my therapist. I don't know what I would do without them. Uh, I don't know if I can say their name because HIPAA, but um, I feel like, especially transitioning from high school to college, a lot has happened in my personal life as well as just life in general. And it has been very difficult to transition, especially since my family, most of them has moved away. Some of them have health issues now, and it's just been a really stressful time. And of course, there's always the stress of going to college and moving out. I actually have, like, I got my first apartment, so it has been a really tough time this past year. And having my therapist, they were always there to um, work on these things with me, like work on how I absorb things and how I react to things and how to process like new things. And honestly, I feel like mental health is so important, and especially during like really tough times, it's really important to just, take a second and to, take a breath and really, take care of yourself. And so, yeah, I'd say my therapist has been the greatest mentor.
It's always good to have important role models.
Certainly. And I would say to you, Joanne, congratulations on getting your apartment. And
Yeah,
that's terrific.
Thank you.
You're doing great things.
that's an adventure in itself.
How has your parents and your family's dynamics been with you both and your blindness? Seems like you both come from great families. Can you take us through that a little bit? What's that been like?
Yeah, so when I was born, the doctors told my parents I was going to be almost completely blind. And the doctors in the hospital actually told my parents I wasn't going to be able to work and I wasn't going to be a productive individual, which is probably a terrible thing to hear a doctor say to my parents. But they were wrong, thankfully. But as when I was really young, like my parents could tell that I definitely struggled to see things. I knocked things over. Like if they'd smile at me and I'd have no reaction. But my dad actually bought his own business shortly after I was born, and his plan was um, there's like an apartment upstairs of his business. It's a dog grooming facility, and he was gonna have me like live upstairs. He was gonna make me as independent as possible, and he had this whole plan of like what I was gonna do with my life, and he was gonna make me as independent as possible. And they've both of my parents have always cared for me, and I think I've shocked them with the progress I've made. When I was in second grade, they had my little brother who also has albinism. His vision is slightly better than mine, but we're pretty much the same. But they've been great to us. Both of my parents, they were my biggest advocates for the longest time, and they even built good connections within my school, like with my principals and stuff. Since then, I've taken over like those advocating for myself, but they always advocated for me. They found me, um, like they got my IEP settled, and I couldn't have asked for better parents. They've done literally everything that I could have asked of them.
Very nice. And that definitely shows. So I know they did a good job. And Joanne?
Yeah, so I definitely have not had the traditional family dynamic. My mother actually passed away when I was very young, and my father uh was in college actually getting his PhD when I was when I was born. So for the most part, my grandparents were the one who were the ones who raised me, and definitely was a really big struggle when I lost my vision, because for most of my family, they actually have never met a disabled person, much less a blind person before. So it was a really big adjustment, and there was definitely some ableism. I mean, so I'm Korean, and my family are immigrants, and so there is a lot of that culture with it. And I would say in Korean culture, it's image is definitely a really big thing. Like if you're not, it's very difficult to fit in if you're not, the ideal Korean, I'd say. Of course, that's a generalization, but that was just my experience. And so my dad really was not supportive at all with my vision. It was mainly my grandmother. And a part of that is, I think, is because my grandmother also was starting to struggle with her vision and her mobility. So on that, we kind of, I guess, bonded over not being as able-bodied as our other family members. Actually, recently I've made the difficult decision to go no contact with my father, because he has not been supportive of my journey at all. Even going to college, doing anything, he told me he actually wanted me to just stay home and just sit around and do nothing, and just he actually wanted me to marry a rich guy, so that he could do everything for me. But of course, I I can't do that. That's not, I'm very independent. I feel like I've raised myself for um a majority of years, and it has, of course, been an adjustment for me as well, losing my vision. Um, but honestly, like my grandmother and uh my grandfather have definitely been the better supporters, and uh they'll even I actually just got a call from my grandmother before this recording, and she just asked me how I was doing and everything, because she's really worried about me. So um yeah, I guess that was really my experience growing up in a family dynamic that wasn't really supportive.
It's great that you overcame a lot, and
Yeah.
you pushed past the barriers. You pushed past the barriers to your success. And I know that you're making your mom proud, definitely with all the work that you're doing,
Thank
and
you.
will continue to do.
And sometimes too, when you have to exchange other family members to be in your corner, I feel that's a good factor in itself.
I think it's important for other disabled people and like blind people to know that it's okay to not have, well, obviously it's not a great feeling to have family members who don't support you, but that even if that is your circumstance, like you can still thrive, and you can still, you can still achieve all the dreams that you want to and do everything that you want to do. Uh, like your family doesn't have to hold you back. And I think that's really important for other people to know, because I know that hasn't always been my experience, to know that because all the blind friends I've made over the years, like it seems like their families are 100% supportive of them, and it was really difficult for me to relate to others. So I think sharing my experience, I think will help other people know that things will be okay.
Yeah, that's good. Very good point there.
Amen.
Very good point. Is there any other endeavors that you would like to talk about, either with your schools or in the community, or any other things that you're involved in that you want to promote?
Yeah, so I mentioned before that I'm a part of Temple's Society of Environmental Engineering and Science. I recommend everyone join their local environmental nonprofit, join a park cleanup, do something, because it's a really great opportunity to like meet new people and just show a little love for your community.
I was gonna say, Joanne, I'm actually a member of our Lions Club, so we do trash cleanup here in the region, usually monthly. It depends on when they need us, but that's pretty busy in itself. But we feel very proud about it.
Oh yeah, I've loved doing every single like volunteer event that my club has. And actually I'm a little nervous now, because now I'm taking the role of organizing those events. So I wish me
Oh
luck.
boy.
Yeah.
Wow. Is there any specific information that you want to give if people wanted to get involved in that work
Yeah,
that you're doing, or a website or contact information? We can put it in the show notes, or if we want to announce it.
yeah. So I know personally, TUC's that's abbreviation. They have an Instagram page. It's really just tu.sees. Um, Usually we just post our volunteer events. If you're in the local Philly area, we'd love to have people join because they're not temple exclusive. Like anyone can join. But in terms of like local, if you're not in the Philly area, I would say just Google, see what's around. Maybe your local college or university even has opportunities like that. So go out and pick up some trash. Yeah.
And Ashleigh, what about you?
Yeah, so mine isn't really like specific to like visually impairment in general, but I have been a part of a 4-H club since I was very young, and it's taught me really how to public speak, how to be a confident speaker, and it's taught me a lot of leadership qualities too. I've served as several like officer positions, and I've been to like state leadership conferences, I've been a counselor. But if there's a local 4-H club in anyone's area, I would highly recommend like getting involved, or getting a child involved. Um, that applies more for teenagers because you age out after age 18, unfortunately. But it's really helped me grow as a person and become a more confident member of society.
I thank you both for coming on to White Canes Connect to talk about your story, your journey, your hopes and aspirations for the future. It's been a pleasure sitting down to talk with you both. Preston, what did you think?
I agree. Definitely some huge game changers coming on the scene, folks. So get ready because they are going to be making a huge impact. And I know the entire NFB, including us here in PA, will be looking forward to meeting you in Houston, hearing your stories, and making sure you know what's best for you in your future is important. So I think that's why the scholarship is very well deserved. So big kudos and congrats again, and definitely all the best to you both.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, very well deserved. And for folks that are going to be in Houston, don't hesitate to find Ashleigh and Joanne and say hi, get connected, talk, welcome them into the family that is the Federation. So we thank you both again for your valuable time and insights. And thank you all for listening to White Canes Connect. We hope you all have a great day and enjoy until the next episode.
Thank you for joining us. Make it a good day, and we'll see you soon on White Canes Connect.
Thanks for listening to this episode of White Canes Connect. You can reach out to us via email at whitecanesconnect@gmail.com. That's whitecanesconnect@gmail.com. Reach out via phone 267-338-4495. You've got up to 3 minutes to leave your name and town and your question, comment, show ideas, anything you'd like. Again, 267-338-4495. Find us on social media at PA Blind Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube.